dynasty trust. I think you're going to find this very, very enlightening. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed the first of our 4-part series. If you didn't get a chance to see that, you want to head on over to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube, and then just choose Invest Brilliantly on YouTube, and you'll see it there under the podcast section or under the lives. I think is what it's under, that section right there. So I'm excited about that. I think you guys are going to see that you can do some pretty amazing things as a person who is familiar with this whole concept of having a dynasty trust. Our show today, the program today, is brought to you by Node Investor University. NodeInvestorUniversity.com. You can head on over to NodeInvestorUniversity.com, and you can see more about who we are and what we're doing and that kind of thing. I think that you guys will find that heading over to Node Investor University can be a life-changing experience for you. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but if you'll embrace what you learned there, there's nothing that can stop you from having tremendous success in your life and in your family. And as I said, today we're going to be talking about the Family Banking Dynasty Trust. It's going to give you a way to manage your family's wealth. Over at Node Investor University, you can actually earn your note investing certification. It's the only university that does offer the CNIS designation, Certified Note Investing Specialist. You can earn your CNIS designation at nodeinvestoruniversity.com. When you get that designation, you will be an absolute expert in the note space. So you can earn that designation in a few months just by heading on over to nodeinvestoruniversity.com. Learn more there at that website. So, guys, you may recall that last week I was talking with you guys about investing, setting up a dynasty trust. And so I'm going to go into that a little bit more today and see if I can help you get some clarity around what it is and how it works and all that kind of stuff. So just to be clear, I've taken the word dynasty and the word trust, and I've got the definitions for them here. A dynasty is a powerful family that maintains its position for a considerable time. So your family maintaining a position for a considerable time is considered a dynasty. And I'm going to show you how you can literally start that process by creating a dynasty trust for yourself and your family. And so then a trust on the other hand is this. A trust is a written contract of governance and administration of the wishes of the trust creator, which would be you, regarding the assets that are transferred to the trust by the trust creator. And so we're going to talk about that today. So a trust is a document that basically outlines your wishes, and it governs that, and it makes sure that your wishes are carried out. Okay. So that's what a trust. So a dynasty trust is a family that is in control of its finances and of its life for a period of time that extends beyond the current generation. And that control is administered by a written document called a trust. So that's kind of what it is. I don't want you to overthink it. Okay. So those of you that know me know that I invest in mortgage-backed notes, and that's how I became wealthy. About 10 years ago, I started investing in mortgage-backed notes. As a matter of fact, it was 2013. I found out about notes on July 4th, 2013, because I was up that day surfing the internet, and I found some guy on the internet that said that he was a mortgage note investor and that he owned mortgage notes on 400 condos down in Florida. Now, even though I had owned a Century 21 franchise and 2 different mortgage companies up to that point, I didn't know that I could own a mortgage on someone's home or someone's condo. I didn't know that I could do that. And so I was intrigued, and I dug into it, and I realized, yeah, that's a thing. It really is a thing. And so I started learning about it. I dove into it. And to make a long story short, over the next few years, I really kind of became an expert at it. I absorbed everything I could possibly find out about it. And then I started investing in mortgage notes myself, even though I didn't have any money. I started investing in mortgage notes by partnering with people who had money because I had the expertise, they had the money. That makes a good team, right? That's how you make a good team. And so I was started partnering with people, and we all started making money that way. And today I have a multi-million dollar note portfolio. Our portfolio now is approaching $20 million, the size of our portfolio, and it started from zero. As a matter of fact, it started from below zero. If you can be less than zero, right? You can be negative. That was my life in 2013. I was negative. I literally was negative. I had lost my home. I had lost my cars. I had lost my business. Um, I was delivering newspapers from midnight till 7 in the morning to just try and make a little money so I could pay the rent on the crappy little mobile home that I rented after I lost my custom built home. I mean, my life was at the bottom, guys. So I'm a testament to you of what can happen if you take this note business seriously. I had a bigger problem that some of you guys don't have. Not only was I broke, I was also old. I was already 60 years old in 2013. I was already 60 years old and broke and starting over again. And that's not where you want to be. Trust me when I tell you that. So today I invest in mortgage notes. I have a big mortgage note portfolio. I have many partners. This note business has taken me places that I never dreamed I'd go. Never dreamed I'd go. For example, I'm now building 300 apartment buildings, 300 apartment units down in Florida, right outside Orlando. Orlando is where Disney World is, right? Right outside Orlando, I'm building 300 apartments. Uh, I'm I'm probably going to build 1,000 of them total, but I'm already under contract and under construction on the first 300. I never saw that coming. It wasn't part of some master plan. It's just that once you get into the mortgage note business, you are in essence in the money business. And let me tell you guys something. Once you're in the money business, everything opens up to you because every business needs money. And so by getting into the money business, I have found myself there. I have participated and profited from new construction of houses in Malibu, California, out there where all the movie stars live, apartment buildings in Florida. Um, as I said, the apartment buildings down in Florida, I mentioned that, but also apartment buildings in Texas. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. I participated and profited from apartment buildings being built down in Texas. We are also now involved in land entitlement. That's where you take raw land and then you get all the zoning and all that stuff done so that you can build houses on it. But we're not going to build houses. We're just going to sell that land once it's ready to build. We're going to sell that land to these big developers like Kaufman and Bro, the people who build these big communities, right? So, that's something else that has come my way as a result of being in the note business. I never saw this stuff coming. Wish I could say I was so smart that I made it all happen. But here's what I can say. If you're in the mortgage note business, these are the kinds of things that happen. This kind of stuff comes your way. And so that's a good business to learn. And so head on over to Note Investor University. You can learn about mortgage note investing. You can enter into the money business and you can learn how to change your family's fortune. Once I started making enough money in the note business, that's when I figured out I have to do something with this money because I started buying these mortgage notes and I started having people pay their mortgage payments to me every month. See, because when you buy a mortgage note, what happens is you step into the shoes of the bank that gave the people the mortgage. You become their bank. So every month they send their mortgage payments to you. Like in my case, I have hundreds of people that send their mortgage payments to me every month. It literally, for me, is mailbox money. I don't have to do anything because I don't own their real estate. I don't own their house. I am the lender. So if their roof leaks, they don't call me. What have I got to do with that? Just pay your mortgage payment, right? Don't call the bank when your roof leaks any more than you call the Toyota finance when you get a flat tire. It's like, hey, just pay your car payment, right? So for me, that's where my life is. People pay payments to me, and I just get cash flow coming in month after month after month. It comes in regardless of whether I get out of bed, regardless of whether I'm on vacation, no matter what, it comes in because it's contractual. These people have signed a document called a mortgage that says, I will pay you the money that I owe you, or you can take my house. That's what the mortgage basically says. And so I want to teach you guys how to do that. Once I learned how to do it, it changed my life. I then taught it to my daughter, my youngest daughter. It has changed her life. I taught it to her fiance. It has changed his life. And to date, I have taught it to more than 600 other people through our Note Investor University. And we are changing lives every single day. And I take a lot of pride in that. And I would like to change your life too. So head on over to noteinvestoruniversity.com and watch the difference that it can make. But here's what's going to happen for you if you decide to pursue investing in mortgage backed promissory notes. The same thing is going to happen to you that happened to me. And that is, you're going to have more money coming in than you can spend. I know some of you guys probably laughing, like, yeah, right. Okay. Well, let me say it this way. You're going to have more money coming in than you can spend reasonably. I mean, you can certainly go nuts, right? Or you can certainly waste it, or you can certainly take it to a casino and throw it all on red and hope you don't lose it all. I mean, you can do stupid stuff, but how many suits can you buy, right? How many pairs of shoes do you need? How many cars can you drive? At the end of the day, your needs will be met, is my point. And it'll happen very quickly with the mortgage note space in this space. It'll happen very quickly for you. It won't take decades. Like it took me about 6 years or so to get to the point that I no longer have to worry about money. Funny thing about money, the more of it you have, the less of it you think about it. The less you think about it, I meant to say. The more you have, the less you think about it. So I want to give you an example of why I say that. When I didn't have a bunch of money, when I was just living paycheck to paycheck like many people, I thought that people with money do nothing but all day long but think about money. That's all they do. They're greedy bastards and they think about money. The truth is, that's just not the way that it is. And I'm going to give you an analogy to kind of drive home that point. Let's just say you're driving in your car, driving down the highway, right? And you look down at your gas gauge and you realize, oh my goodness, I'm almost on empty. Woo! I need to find a gas station, right? So you start waiting for an exit to come up so that you can find a gas station. You hope there's a station at that exit. Otherwise, you got to get back on the freeway and go down to the next exit, right? So while you are driving, if you see that you're really close to empty, is there anything else on your mind besides finding a gas station? Probably not. Probably not. The most important thing you can think of is, I got to find a gas station. I am almost out of gas. Almost out of gas. So let's just say 3 exits down, you find a gas station. You get off the freeway, you go to the gas station, you make it to the pump without your car dying out on you. You stick that nozzle down in the pump, you squeeze the handle, and you fill up your tank. As a matter of fact, you don't just fill it up, you top it off, right? You fill it all the way up, okay? Then you get back into your car, you jump back on the freeway, and you start driving. So now let me ask you this. Now that you're driving down the freeway with a full tank of gas, how much do you think about gas? Probably not at all, right? Your tank is full. You know it's full. Gasoline is the last thing on your mind. The same thing happens when your bank account is full. Guys, when your bank account is bouncing around on empty, all you can think about is, I need to get some money. I need to get some money. I need to pay this bill. I need to pay that bill. I need to buy this. I need to send my kids to get my kids, dental work done, whatever. That's all you think about is money. You, when you're broke, are money obsessed. People, when they are broke, tend to be money obsessed. It's not wealthy people that are money obsessed. It's broke people that are money obsessed. Once your bank account is full and topped off, you don't even think about it. It just is not a thing. You go to the store, you see something you want to buy, you don't even look at the price. Who cares? You got all the money you need. That's the lifestyle that I'm telling you can have. And you can have it very quickly. Quickly in my book is 2 or 3 years. That's pretty darn quick to go from zero to topped off money at bank account, isn't it? That's pretty darn quick. COVID was 3 years ago. Could you imagine if you started when COVID was there? Today, you'd already be rich. You wouldn't have to worry about it. COVID wasn't that long ago. So I'm not talking about something that's going to take you forever to do. You can get this done. You can get it done quick. But then you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with the money. And that's where I found myself. And that's why I'm talking to you guys about the Dynasty Trust. Because I had so much money coming in and it just keeps coming every month, keeps coming in. You got to do something with the money. And so I decided what I was going to do is I was going to start doing something to build a multi-generational financial strength, right? I wanted to build it something multi-generational so that my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, nobody would have to worry about money. And that's where this whole idea of the Dynasty Trust came from. So that being said, I am going to go ahead and share my screen again. I'm going to show you guys something here that I think you're going to really enjoy today. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. All right. So I've already told you what a dynasty is and what a trust is. And so what we're going to do today is talk about combining a dynasty trust in order to take control of our family's financial future. Okay. This is not just about you. This whole trust idea is about you paying it forward. That's the whole idea behind a trust, and especially the dynasty trust. Okay. So you may already have some money. And by the way, you don't have to have a lot of money to set up a dynasty trust. It's not very expensive to do that. And what I'm going to be showing you here this week, next week, and 1 week after that is I'll be showing you how to do that. But today I'm going to show you this. You have money someplace right now, probably in a bank account. Why do you use commercial banks? Well, people use commercial banks for several reasons, right? Because they're convenient, they're easy to use. You got to store your money someplace, right? You don't want to stick it in a mattress. If you put it into a bank, you can easily get it if you need it. That's a big plus, right? You get to use that money without having to pay taxes on it. You can just take it out of the bank and go spend it. You don't have to take it out of the bank, pay taxes, and then spend it. So you get to use it without having to deal with that. The banks will let you put as much money into the bank as you need or as you want. They don't limit how much money you can actually deposit into the bank account. They don't charge you any penalties for taking money out of the bank unless you've signed a contract agreeing, for example, to leave your money in for a certain amount of time, like in a certificate of deposit, something like that, a CD. But other than that, you can take your money out of the bank anytime without any penalties. And the banks don't make you take your money out of their bank account at any point. Now, there are actually places where you can keep your money where some of those things are not true. But in a typical bank right now, if you were to take $100,000 and put it into a bank in a certificate of deposit, today is, we're in March of 2024, you probably earn 3 or 4% putting your money into some bank. So if you were to deposit $100,000 into like a bank certificate of deposit, a bank CD, and they pay you 3%, they're going to pay you $3,000 a year for having your money in their bank. So literally your money is growing. And so that's why we put our money into banks, because our money is safe, it's growing, and it's convenient. Okay? That's important. And that's why people put their money into banks. Some people put some of their money into the stock market. Maybe you have your money in the stock market, right? The stock market has a different dynamic. In stocks, you have a greater growth potential than a bank, right? Banks are paying you 3%. Stocks, you can make a lot more than 3%. If your stocks do well, I mean, you can make a lot more, right? But on average, over the last 75 years, the stock market, the New York Stock Exchange, has averaged about 9%. So that's not too shabby. But that's over 75 years. There's some years where it loses money. There's some years where it makes 20%. But it averages about 9%. The thing about putting your money in the stock market, though, is suppose you need to pull your money out at a time when it's losing money. Okay? Maybe you need your money today. You can't wait another year or two till the market is doing well again. You need your money now, right? Suppose that's the situation you find yourself in. See, so there's that risk. There's always the risk that you can lose money when your money is in the stock market. So I don't necessarily believe that us ordinary folks should be putting our money into the stock market. That's just personally, I don't think we should. And that's why I don't have any money in the stock market. I used to have money in the stock market and I lost plenty of money in the stock market, but I didn't know any better. Now that I know better, there's no way I'm putting any money in the stock market. Also, the stock market is not as convenient as a bank account, right? At a bank account, you need the money, just go to an ATM or just walk into the bank and get the money. You can even write a check to get your money out of the bank, right? You don't even have to go to the bank or ATM. But the stock market is not quite that easy, right? You got to sell the stock, right? You got to reach out to your broker. You got to sell the stock. You got to wait for the cash to come in. Then they got to transfer the money to you. So it's a little bit less convenient. So it's a little inconvenient, but still, people go there because they want a better return than maybe 3% at some bank. And I get that, right? Some people store their money in a 401k or other government sponsored retirement plan. And that's fine too. But here's some things about these retirement plans. You get to store your money pre-tax. That's true. Your money also grows tax deferred, or with a Roth IRA, it grows tax free. Okay? So that's true. But there are always annual fees and transaction fees when you have your money inside these programs. So you're always paying fees. There's no guaranteed internal growth. In other words, there's no way that an IRA or 401k is going to tell you, oh, you're guaranteed to make 4% or 3% or 7%. They don't. There's no guarantees because your money really isn't sitting in an IRA. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. There are also limits on contributions. How much you can put into a Roth or how much you can put into some of these programs each year is controlled by the government. The reason that they do that is because they want to tax your money, and you put your money in here, they can't get the taxes right now. They got to wait until you retire. And so our government, as you guys know, they want as much money from you as they can take, and when do they want it? Now. Okay? But because we have this program, IRAs, 401ks, they have agreed, Congress has set it up so that you can defer those taxes and pay it later. Okay? So they limit how much you can put in. Also, they make you leave it in until you're 59 and a half. If you take it out before that, you can get penalized. That's another thing that they require under this program, IRAs, 401ks. But they also have mandatory withdrawals. After you reach 70 and a half, then you're required to take money out. Now, why would they require you to take money out of the program? The reason is simple. They want to get their taxes. They make you take the money out of your savings account, out of your IRA 401k, so that you can pay taxes on it. That's why they do it. Mandatory withdrawals. And your withdrawals are taxed at least at 20%, guys. And finally, there's an estate tax. And when you transfer all of your IRA 401k money to your kids, your heirs, there's taxes that are due at that point. So even if your money is in an IRA 401k, it's nice to know that it's safe because it is. But there's no growth inside that vehicle. And I'll explain what I mean in just a minute. And it's kind of inconvenient. So now back to the no growth aspect. The reason that I say that there's no growth inside your IRA or 401k is very simply this. An IRA or 401k is not an investment. An IRA or 401k is an account, like a bank account, checking, like a savings or checking account. It's just an account. Think of it almost like a box. It holds your money, but in and of itself, it's not earning anything. Unless you take that money and invest it in something, your IRA, your 401k will not grow at all. As a matter of fact, it's going to go down because you're going to be paying fees every year. Okay? So it's going to go down. And so most people invest their IRAs, their 401ks, by telling their brokers or financial planners, please put my money to work. And you know where they put their money to work? In the stock market. That's what happens. So most people's IRAs or 401ks are in the stock market. So not only can they grow if the stocks do well, they could also lose if the stocks do poorly. And that's why you hear politicians talking about how in some market downturns, people are losing their retirement accounts, right? You hear politicians talking about that. I heard one recently talking about that. That's why, because it's actually not in a retirement account, it's in the market. So, what are we supposed to do about that? Well, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. I'm going to suggest to you that you set up a, a family banking dynasty trust. Okay? We already know what a dynasty is and what a trust is. We know what a bank is. But what I'm saying is here, you're going to create your own bank, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay? Family banking dynasty trust. If you have your own bank, just like any other bank, you can store your money there, right? Just like any other bank. It's a good place to store your money. You can easily access your money when you need it, just like any other bank. You get to use the money tax-free. You don't have to pay taxes on it when you use it, just like any other bank. But this is different than most other banks. You also get guaranteed compound interest and growth with your family bank. Now that's pretty cool. You also get this, which you don't get with a traditional bank account. You get creditor protection, meaning suppose someone breaks their leg on your front lawn and then they sue you. Okay? They can't touch the money that's in the cash value that's in your family bank. If your money was sitting in Bank of America, they can sue you for that money. But this money is protected from lawsuits and creditors. Okay? You can also recapture the interest that you've been paying out to other institutions. For example, I finance my vehicle through my own family bank. So when I pay monthly payments, principal, paying down my car, the interest that I'm paying and the payments that I make go right back into my family bank. So when I'm ready to buy my next car, that money's right there. Instead of me paying that money to Toyota Finance or whoever, right? That money stays in the family. So you get to recapture that interest. There's no limits on how much money I can put into my family bank, just like a traditional bank. There's no penalties for me to take money out of my family bank, just like a traditional bank, but unlike an IRA or 401k. Same thing with how much money you can put into it, right? IRAs and 401ks, they have limits how much you can put in. Your family bank doesn't. So these are things that I just want you to understand. There's no mandatory required withdrawals that I'm required to take, like in an IRA or 401k. As I said, at age 70 and a half, you got to start taking money out of your retirement account, whether you want to or not, because the government wants their taxes. And here's a big one. When I die, my wealth will transfer to my children tax-free, or to my heirs, right? Tax-free. There's no estate tax that I have to pay that my heirs will have to pay on the money that I transfer them to them through my family bank, guys. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you should do. And here's the big biggie. You have a guaranteed financial legacy. Even if all you saved in your family bank is $100,000, you're going to have 5, 10 times that goes to your family when you die. So you may have $500,000 to $1 million that goes to your family when you die, if you set up your family bank the way that I'm about to show you. Okay? So let's just say you're the Smith family and you're going to set up a Smith family bank. The way that you do that is you buy a whole life insurance policy and you have your dynasty trust own that whole life insurance policy. Those two institutions create the family bank. And let's just say you deposit $100,000 into your family bank, into your account. Here's what I can tell you. Your family bank, the way that you structure them, the way we teach you to structure them, your family bank is going to be paying interest on any money that you deposit in the account, just like any other bank. Remember, traditional banks today are paying 3% if you put your money into a certificate of deposit. Well, here, right now, my family bank is paying me just about 6%. 6%. So instead of making $3,000 on a $100,000 deposit, every year I make $6,000 on a $100,000 deposit. Twice as much in my own family bank. So that's a big plus right there. All right. But it gets even better. When I deposit $100,000 into my family bank, in addition to paying me 6%, I also get something called a financial legacy fund. Now, the financial legacy fund that I get for $100,000 is $1 million. That is what will go to my children if I die, right? That's the death benefit on the whole life insurance policy. So if I die, the $100,000, the $1 million goes to my family. Think about that for just a minute. I deposited $100,000 in my bank, my family bank, and instantly my family is guaranteed to get $1 million when I die. That doesn't happen when you put $100,000 in Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, Navy Federal Credit Union. None of that. That doesn't happen in any of those institutions. That happens when you put your money into your family bank. Okay? And remember, this is a bank, right? It's not a chartered bank in the traditional sense. This is a personal bank that you've created and that you control. So if you need money, let's say you deposit $100,000 in the bank, but you need some money. Let's say you want to buy a car or something. You want to take, I want to take out $40,000 to buy a car. You can totally do that, right? You put $100,000 in the bank account, so you can take money out of the bank account. So let's just say you take $40,000 out of the bank account, but instead of taking the $40,000 out of the account where the $100,000 is, because you have a legacy fund, take the $100,000 from the legacy fund. Take it out of the $1 million. Okay, use it to buy a car or take a vacation, do whatever. Use it to invest. Go buy some mortgage notes, as you heard me talk about earlier, right? But take it from the million. Don't take it from the 100,000, because if you take it from the million, guess what happens? The $100,000 keeps earning 6%. Now that's fantastic. Can't do that at Bank of America. See, if you take $40,000 out of Bank of America, you no longer have $40,000 in there, do you? You no longer have $100,000 in there. Now you only have $60,000 in there. They'll pay you 3% on 60,000, not 3% on 100. Here, because you took it out of the legacy fund, you still get paid 6% on the whole $100,000. You see how powerful that is? So instead of making 3% on $60,000, which would be $1,800 a year, you get to make $6,000 a year by not touching that $100,000 using this strategy. I hope you guys see how powerful that is. That's why that money continues to compound. It continues to compound and grow and grow and grow. And as that money grows, what happens is little pieces of that money, every time it grows, a percentage of that money is used to increase the amount of your family's financial legacy fund. So that $6,000 goes to push the $1 million up above $1 million. And if you need that $6,000, you can just borrow it from the million, whatever, right? It's $1 million. Let's call it $1.6 million. You can borrow it from the $1.6 million. 1,006,000, right? You can do that. So that's my point. That's the power of setting up a family bank. Now, here's something else to think about. You own this bank. So what's the interest rate you're going to charge yourself if you borrow $40,000 from your bank? It's up to you. How much you want to charge yourself? Charge yourself zero if you want to. You're borrowing money from your own bank. I pay myself back 8% interest, because I'd have to pay, if I borrowed the money from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, I'd have to pay them something. They're not going to give me free money. So why would I cheat myself, right? I pay myself back the same way. It's going right back into my bank. If I need it, I just go get it again. So it's no big deal, but I pay myself 8%. How about, how long do I have to repay the money? Well, if you borrow from a traditional bank, they're going to tell you, hey, you got to pay us back in 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, whatever. Here, I decide. If it's your bank, you decide. How many months do you want to take to pay it back? How many years? Do you even want to pay it back? Because frankly, this is your bank. You don't have to pay it back. You can borrow $40,000 and never pay it back. That's an option too. I think that's not a good option. It is a bank. You should just rob your own bank. So I think you should pay it back, but you don't have to. Okay. You just won't have $1 million in there anymore because you took 40,000 out. Okay. So there's not $1 million going to your kids when you die. It's going to be $1 million minus 40,000. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just simply saying, don't do that. Okay. How often should you make payments? Every month, every quarter, once a year, every 2 years? That's up to you. If you're going to a traditional bank, they're going to tell you, hey, you need to pay every month or whatever. Right? They tell you, but this is your bank. You decide. How much of a monthly payment or quarterly payment or annual payment should you make? That's up to you. This is your bank. You get it? This is your bank. Guys, this is one of the most powerful concepts I've ever run into. And what I do now is I make my bank available to all of my family members. And my family members literally borrow money from our bank all the time. They pay it back with 8% interest, just like they would pay Wells Fargo or any other bank. Okay? They pay it back with 8% interest. And that money all goes back into the bank, the family bank, and increases the amount of money that's available for the next family member. The day will come where we're going to have millions and millions of dollars in there because as each of us dies, the Dynasty Trust, let me back up a little bit. We set this up so the Dynasty Trust puts life insurance policies on each person that's a part of our family. And as each of us dies, that death benefit goes into the family trust. Like if it's $1 million, if it's $500,000, if it's $100,000, if it's $10,000, it goes into the family banking trust. And that money is there for all family members who want to use it. If they need a student loan, they can take it from the family trust, from our own bank. If they want to buy a car, they want to get married and they want to take out a loan so they can have a nice wedding, whatever, right? They can take it from our family bank. They don't have to go outside of our family to do that. Isn't this the coolest thing? You guys think this is the coolest thing? If you think this is cool, do me a favor. Like this on Facebook or YouTube. Like it, share it, make a comment on it. Okay? Because people don't know about this. This is the kind of stuff that the average person just is completely clueless about. And so I'm going to ask you guys to show me some love. Okay? Mr. Producer, I'm open to answering questions for people that have them. If you have anybody on there that has questions that I might be able to answer. I know that we have people watching this on Facebook, on YouTube, possibly on LinkedIn, wherever. And if there are questions out there, I'm happy to answer them. But as I said, in the meantime, you guys, if you could comment, if you guys could like, anything like that, right? Give me some algorithm love. Give me some algorithm love, if you would. I would appreciate that. And so while I'm waiting to see if any comments or questions are coming in, I do want to say this. This is the second part of a 4-part series. Next week, I am going to be going through part 3 of our 4-part series. And I'm going to be talking with you about how to get your Dynasty Trust funded, how to provide funding for your Dynasty Trust. And it doesn't matter if you have a little money or a lot of money, it just doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to do this so that anybody who has a job can start a Dynasty Trust and they can change the trajectory of their family's financial future. Try saying that 3 times really fast. Change the trajectory of your family's financial future. All right. So let's see here. I don't see any questions coming in through the chat. Let me go over here. Yeah, I don't see any questions or comments in the chat. So I think it might be safe to say that I've done such a great job on this that you guys don't have any questions. And that's fine. I'm good with that. Okay? I'm good with that. But I want you guys to join me next week, and I will be talking there then about the Family Banking Dynasty Trust and how to create the funds, how to put funds into these trusts, and how to make sure these trusts never run out of money. There's a way that you can do that using the strategies for doing that. And I want you guys to understand something. This is nothing new. It's just new to you. Okay. If you're not familiar with this, it's not new. It's been going on for more than 100 years. People have been doing this. Wealthy families have been doing this for more than 100 years. It's just now I'm trying to help people understand that you don't have to be wealthy to do this. You just have to want to do it. You have to want to make a difference in your own family and in your family's life. If you are that person, the person that says, I want to make a difference for my kids, for my grandkids, for my great grandkids, if that's you, this is a fantastic way to do it. Fantastic way. I don't know of a better way. All right, guys. So there you go. That is our Invest Brilliantly podcast for today. I want to thank you guys so much for sharing this time with me. I'm going to encourage you also to head on over to noteinvestoruniversity.com, noteinvestoruniversity.com, and learn more about note investing, because that's kind of the foundation for building all of this, the rest of this. You need a way to have passive income coming in so that you can have freedom, financial freedom, and then you can start to build out your own family's dynasty. Oh, I see Sharon. Sharon put a comment in here. Sharon says, I've been looking into infinite banking. Is this the same? Yes, Sharon, it is. This is a great, that's a great way to put it. It's infinite banking. People give it different names, but it's like that, yes. Except it's infinite banking on steroids, because infinite banking does not involve a 360-year dynasty trust. We're going beyond infinite banking, okay? Beyond that. But yes, it's something that you should do. If you have a job, you can certainly set up a family bank. You know, if you're destitute, then probably can't do it, right? But if you're not destitute, it's not very expensive to set up. If you're not destitute, you can set up a family bank for yourself and an intergenerational trust, dynasty trust, as they call them. You can do that, okay? We have the attorneys that do that kind of stuff. We can refer you to some people that can help you get that stuff done, for those of you that are interested. But you can reach us by heading over to noteinvestoruniversity.com. And there is where you can connect with us. All right, Mr. Producer, thank you, sir, for your great work today. Is there anything else that I need to know? Senor. All right. I'm looking in my chat. Doesn't look like... Oh, I have someone ask another question. Thank you for your question, by the way. It says, what if you have a trust already set up, but it's not a dynasty trust? Then you need to get a dynasty trust. When you do get a dynasty trust, you still want to have a living trust. See, if you have a typical trust, which is called a living trust, you want to have that too. The dynasty trust is to transfer your wealth throughout multi-generationally. A living trust is to transfer your wealth just to the next generation. The problem with transferring your wealth to the next generation is it doesn't make it beyond the next generation. Typically speaking, 90% of the wealth that is transferred from one generation to the next gets squandered in that next generation. 10% makes it to your grandkids. Okay? So if you want to make sure that the wealth makes it multi-generational, then you need a dynasty trust, because living trusts die shortly after you die. Okay? That's the problem with a living trust. It dies shortly after you die. And so what you have now is a living trust, Mind Mandate. Hey, that's a cool name. Mind Mandate. I like that. Yeah, I like that. All right. Very good. Thank you guys for those questions. I do appreciate that. I like to see some interaction. That makes me feel like I'm not speaking to dead air. I never know. From my side, I can't tell. But my producer is watching everything out there, and I do appreciate that. Mr. Producer, thank you, sir, for your time today and for your efforts today and your good work as usual. I am going to sign off. I'm Desi Arnaz, professional investor. And I'll see you guys next Thursday, same time. It's 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. See you guys next week. God bless you.